Why most construction business owners are failing and you don't even know it yet. You know, big problems start small and they turn into bigger problems as they go. So this video is here to help you guys to understand the pitfalls and the things that you can get wrong as a business owner so that you can see them now before they turn into a bigger problem. And there are main things that happen in the business that if you don't get the control of, you will end up in a lot of trouble. And it's the reason why most companies don't make it past 5 years. They fail, they go bankrupt, they run out of money. And that's actually point one. The most important thing in a business is management of cash flow. And a lot of people have poor management of cash flow. And you've got to look at it like, people understand cash flow very easily when it's personal money, but they get very messed up when it's business money. Now, from a personal point of view, if you've got a bank account and let's say gets £10,000 a month go into that account and you spend £8,000 a month, you know you've got £2,000 to do what you want with. But business is not as easy as that. It's not as clear cut as that because there's all different payment times, there's taxes, there's different points of the month where you invoice, where money comes in, where money goes out, jobs have started, jobs have finished. And it's that middle piece that you need to get massive control onto. And the only way you're going to get into a position of really having good cash flow is knowing the profitability on the jobs that you've got. So you have to know, right, what profit is in each job that we've got. If you've got a £30,000 job, a £300,000 job, or a £1 million job, what's the profitability on that job? What is the margin percentage? So that you know with clarity, well, there's X amount of profit on that job. And it's coming in this month, this month, and this month. Have you got 3 invoices? Have you got 2 invoices? Have you got 6 invoices per month? Is it payment applications? You need to understand all this stuff because otherwise, if you don't do this bit, you're never going to understand where money's coming from. So when you know the profitability on each job that you do and when it's going to be invoiced, you know what month it's going to fall into, you can then look at like what's going out every single month. You have to know your hard fixed costs, which in other words, your overheads. If you don't know your overheads, you just haven't got a clue where you are. You have to know, right, have we got 10 grand a month going out regardless? Have we got 20 grand a month going out regardless? If you've got no jobs on, what's the fixed standstill costs? The offices, the vans, phones, subscriptions, anything that you've got within a business that are going to be there regardless of how much work you've got on. There is a fixed standstill cost and you need to know that so that you know once you're over a certain invoice amount per month, you're in the green basically and you're not in the red. You have to know these key numbers because essentially what you're trying to do is see what's left in the middle. You need to know, right, there's money in, money comes in, and money goes out. And this is, imagine this is the month. You've got the 1st of the month and you've got the 31st of the month. Somewhere in the middle, there's going to be profitability. You have to know these numbers to understand this. And the key thing where people go wrong for cash flow is from the tax side of things. Because the difference with a business compared to personal money is that you're creating tax points every step you take. The minute you take money out of a company, the minute you create profitability in a company, you are creating tax points. You have to understand these tax points in the way of corporation tax, employer's tax, employee tax, a whole host of other different taxes. And this is why you need a very strong accountant. You have to have an accountant that's on the page with you and talks you through every single little thing. You have to understand, right, are we on top of all our tax liabilities? Because most of the times what I've seen from working with different companies to help them out is that cash flow becomes a problem when invoices come in that were unexpected. You didn't expect the invoice. So a VAT bill comes in or a CIS bill comes in or anything like that comes in, corporation tax, whatever. If you're not expecting it, you're going to get caught out. Whereas if you account for it every single month, and the way to do this is a monthly P&L. So you have a P&L meeting, which is a profit and loss meeting for your business, where you review every single thing. So you review what money came in, what revenue did you do, what expenses did you incur, and how are the jobs running? Are the jobs running in line with the profitability that you said when you priced the jobs? If you do those things, you start forecasting properly and allowing, right, well, based on the profitability we're making now, we are liable for this level of tax, from corporation tax to personal tax, depending on what you're taking out, your own dividend rates, whatever that is. I've done separate videos on that. They'll be around this video somewhere. You have to know all this sort of stuff to be in control of your cash flow. Again, link it back to your household income. If you've got £10,000 a month coming in, you know you've got 2 left, but 1 month you go and spend your 20 grand on a really nice luxury holiday, where's that money coming from? You're only going to be able to do that and pay for that holiday if you save the money and you allocate your money correctly. And this is the main big problem with poor cash flow. So if you've got poor cash flow in your business, you've got to think of it. It's a bit like a cancer. And as grim as it sounds, cancer starts one cell. One cell in the body starts getting all a bit muddled up and messed up. But it spreads. And before you know it, this cancer grows and grows and grows and grows. And eventually it kills people. It's the biggest killer of people. But this is the same in business, is that lack of cash flow and poor management of cash flow is cancer of the business. It starts small. So any one thing that you're missing, if you're getting unexpected bills come in, you're not quite on it with the finances, you've got to think it's like a cancer starting, and it will get worse and worse and worse over time. And that is why this ends up killing business. Because ultimately, if you're out of money, you're out of the game. It's like Monopoly. If you're out of cash, you're out, you're done, you're out of the game. Business is exactly the same. Now, the next big killer to businesses is bad planning and actually a lack of strategy. Like not knowing what you're doing, how you're doing it, how you're going to get the next level of customers you want, how you're going to increase profitability, how you're going to grow the top line, how you're going to grow the bottom line, all of these important questions. And really, bad planning comes from not knowing where you want to go in the first place. You can only set a good solid plan and strategy based on where you want to go as a company. What I mean by that is basically, well, what's your 1 year goal? Like, where do you want the business to be in 12 months' time? And then equally start looking ahead and go, well, where do you want to be in 3 years' time? What are your goals for the company? Only when you get very clear on your goal can you then work a plan backwards. And a lot of people have big ideas, big dreams, but never actually any actionable steps to get there, because any goal is always going to come back to actionable steps that you can take to get you to where you want to be. Because I can guarantee you, whatever revenue goal you've got, let's say it's a £5 million a year business, that is always going to work back to how many customers do you need? How many customers do you need to hit that goal? How many jobs do you need to do to hit that goal? And your business will be very different. You know, some of you watching this, you'll be doing 100 grand jobs, 500 grand jobs. Some of you will be doing 10 grand jobs at the minute. You've got to change and tweak your business model to get you to this level of revenue. So if you know you've got 500 grand jobs, you need 10 jobs, you need 10 good clients. Then you can start looking at, well, where are we going to get those clients? Where are those clients currently? And what team do you need to build to allow you to do that level of revenue? What next key hires do you need to make in terms of resources on the ground, like labour? And what resources do you need in the office in terms of your professional team? Do you need more admin support? Do you need a marketing support? Do you need more project managers? You can only work that out when you know where you want to go. And lack of planning is a big killer for business, because if you don't have a plan, you don't have actionable steps that you know you can take. We go, look, with clarity, just to make your mind really nice and clear, if we do step 1, step 2, step 3, we will get to where we want to be. Like, undoubtedly, because it's simple maths. And a lot of the times, you know, people overcomplicate stuff, but business is just maths. It's just a maths game. It's just a reps game. It's just a maths game. And right, we need this many clients. This is how many clients we need. And you guys can work this out as you're watching the video and understand, right, where you want to be. How many jobs is that? How many clients is that? How many quotes are we going to need to do to win that amount of work? And what profit do we need to make? And what are our costs going to be? So the two are very linked. Your plan links with cash flow. You need a financial plan and you need an execution plan on where you're going to get to create a decent strategy to get you to where you want to be. So you get the right strategy at the right time. Then, ideas and action. This can ruin people. A lot of business owners, the entrepreneur's mind, full of ideas. You know, you've got ideas coming out left, right and centre. Every 2 minutes seems like another avenue you can take, another opportunity, another business model, something new that you can do. Really the shiny penny. You know, the other opportunity looks easier, looks quicker, looks better, looks faster, but it's not. It's in disguise. The grass is not always greener. And the only reason it looks greener on the other side is because there's more shit over there, but you can't see it yet. This is the biggest curse of a business owner. And a lot of times you can go from idea to idea to idea to idea, but no actual action and no implementation. And simple works, and this is why you have to stick to your plan. Once you've worked out your numbers and where you want to be, and you work out, right, this is how we're going to get those customers, you have to just stick with that plan. Stick the course. Because if you just stuck there with your goal, you're here now, and you just stuck on that line to get you to that goal that you said in the strategy and you started planning with, instead of going from idea to idea to idea to idea to idea, up and down, round the houses, if you just stick with it like a dog with a bone, you are going to save a lot of time. So if you're someone that's constantly got ideas and you're constantly changing direction on what you're doing, that is a massive red flag that you are in trouble because you haven't got a plan and you're not in full control of where you're going. And for me, look, the best thing that I've found, because I used to do a lot of this, I'll be honest. What I do now is I write all my ideas down on a notes section on my iPhone, and then periodically I just check back on it. And a lot of the times the ideas that I had, I don't do anything with because they're not actually that good of an idea. But the idea that keeps coming up in my mind over and over again, and it keeps coming up on my list, I know, right, there's something there, maybe we should look at that. And the good thing to do is, if you write the ideas down, it's out of your head. Because a lot of the times you can keep mulling ideas over and over and over again, but not actually doing with it. Where if you compartmentalise and write them down on a list, it's somewhere for them to go and park so you can get it out of your head, so it doesn't distract you to following the plan. And that is the biggest risk, is distraction. You can be very distracted all the time. Then lastly, number 4, a big failure of businesses that you might not see just yet in your business is being over leveraged. Now, what do I mean by that? You can be over leveraged, you can fall into a trap, which I've done this as well, where customers are actually in control of your business. And what do I mean by that? I mean they are a big percentage of your revenue. And I know a lot of you will have this as well, where 80% of your revenue, sometimes even 100% of your revenue, can be from 1, maybe 2 customers. And that is an issue, because if something happens to 1 or 2 of those customers, your business can be in massive trouble overnight by just knock-on effect of shit just rolls downhill. And where you want to get to with customers is that not one customer has more than 20% of your revenue. If you stick to this rule and you don't over leverage yourself, you're going to be safe, because if something happens to one of these customers and you've got a 20% temporary dip in the business, you can replace that, you can repair that. It's more of a war wound rather than a gunshot head, to the head, and you're dead. And you can react and you can pivot and you can change the business model. But this is a nice safe metric to work to, is that once you start getting clients and they're basically owning more of your revenue than 20%, you are potentially in danger. You could be in a lot of trouble, because as you grow the business, you've got staff in the business, you've got bigger costs. It's only going to get worse and more scary if someone owns you, and then if they stop paying you, you're rocking a hard place that you keep doing work for them because that's all the work you've got, and they're not paying you, and you can end up burying your head or digging a bigger hole. And I've been there, it's horrible, it's not nice. So that is a nice safe metric, but also you can become over leveraged with labour. There's 2 sides to the coin. If all your eggs are in one basket with certain subcontractors or direct labour for you, and something happens to that part of the labour, again, you're in trouble. If you're reliant or overly reliant on just 1 or 2 people, but if they were taken out of the business, you're destroyed, that is an issue. And this is why you need to spend a lot of your time recruiting. And most importantly, recruiting and warming people up when you don't need them. And this is something that's so important that people just don't do and don't think about. But it's something that can catch you out. If you win more work and you haven't got the labour, you're screwed. You can't deliver it. So you need to be recruiting all the time, ahead of time. So if you know from your plan, right, we are going to grow, and as a business owner, you always want to grow. So we're going to need X amount of customers, but we're going to need X amount of labour as well. And once you know that number, you can start going, right, well, if we start meeting people now, before we've grown, we get ahead of time to build relationships and to build interest and to build basically people that you can phone when you do need them. You're going to be in a much better place, because if you're all reliant on one subby as well, it they start underperforming and then their prices keep going up as well, what do? You're screwed. You've got to keep using that person because you're not being a recruiter. And this is actually the hat you need to wear as a business owner. You're actually a recruiter when you own a business. You are recruiting customers on one side and you're recruiting labour on the other side. The more you can get your head into that, then you're going to be in a lot easier and a smarter place as a business owner and not at the mercy of either or different sides of the coin. And lastly, look, all of this is going to come down to you in the middle. I'm a big fan of this and I believe in this massively, that you can only do and execute and all this stuff the better you are as a person, the better you are as a business owner. And your biggest cost as a business owner is ignorance, because a lot of you have become business owners by default, not actually by design. It's actually one thing's led to another. You started on the tools just like I did. It's led to another. You've taken on bigger jobs. You started recruiting people. Before you know it, you've got an office and a team and you don't really know what you're doing. You've never actually been trained or shown how to run the company properly. Whereas on site, you were shown by other people. It's very easy. You learn from another carpenter, you learn from another Sparky, a Tyler, whatever it is. But in the business, it's all on you and it's all in your own head. And the key thing you need to get across, or I need to get across to you guys, is what you don't know is your biggest cost, because you just don't know. You're not even aware of what you're doing. And the things with these points I'm chatting about on this video and all the other videos that I've done is to help you guys, to wake you up, to help educate you and show you, because that is going to be the thing that's going to allow you to move forward in a much bigger pace as a business owner. And the next key thing is for you is a level of accountability. We just about fit that in. Is that when it's just you, it is all on you. No one's actually watching you, no one's checking you. Whereas again, on site, other lads are seeing what you're doing. The customer says, yeah, that looks great, the job looks good, everything works, everything's fitted correctly, everything's done to a nice high standard. No one is doing that to you as the business owner. You live inside your own head. You might chat to your accountant 1 or twice a year, and the team you don't really talk to about because they're just there to do their job. They're not really on that same level as you. And this is why I'm a massive fan of having people in your corner that are there to hold you accountable to where you want to get to and hold you accountable to that plan. And you will see that the business owners that thrive, they've got a really decent level of accountability factor put in. And this is where mentorship, this is where coaching is good. And I do that with people and businesses. And if you want to start with that, there is a free 30 days mentorship by email, 1 email a day to help you guys out, more stuff like this. But accountability is a huge factor. Any good sports team has got accountability, it's got a coach, it's got a person in the corner looking at everything else and going, right, you said you were going to do this and this and this to get you to here, the goal that you want. And then it all works together, and that is going to be your biggest risk as a business owner, not having that level of accountability to help you out and push you. So that's it, guys. Hope you found that video useful. Like I say, if you want 30 days of free business mentorship, there's a link below. Click the link and I'll see you in the next video.